You are now watching Zach Lesage, the best place to learn about competitive Pokemon TCG. Let's get it! Yo, what's poppin' peeps? Welcome back to the channel. Zach Lesage here. We're going to be covering over some more Brilliant Stars content, and today we're going to be covering over Togekiss VMAX. So while Togekiss VMAX did come out in Vivid Voltage, it got a lot of buffs from Brilliant Stars. It got access to double turbo energy, Cheren's care. Really seems like it could be a real contender nowadays. So if you haven't picked them up already, they are super cheap online. Maybe this is the next big deck. Maybe it's not, but I'm here to cover everything in between. The list is in the description, so by all means, copy and paste that, check it out, see exactly what's going on. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch up with all y'all in a little bit. Let's jump into this deck profile. So here we have it, the Togekiss VMAX list, and you can see that there's quite a bit of cards in here. It's really compressed and the lines are longer than those like 2 lines deck. There's a lot of moving pieces in this one. I'll start it off and we'll just kind of go through the Pokemon. Togekiss V is really a vessel to evolve into Togekiss VMAX. Togekiss VMAX has a single attack, does 120 damage. You get to search your deck for 2 cards. So the reason what makes this deck a little bit better nowadays is that we can cut a lot of the fat out of previous Togekiss decks that didn't really work too well, and we could add in double turbo energy. Double turbo energy allows us to it basically allows us to attack for a single attachment. We do 20 less damage, so we're doing 100, but it's really not that big of a deal when you're able to search for a couple cards here and there and basically stay alive forever. We'll get to that in a minute. We'll kind of roll over some scenarios that I've thought of with this deck. And again, this is a pretty early build of something when it comes to the Togekiss VMAX deck. So we'll have to see how it plays out, but right now, it is one of those things where Togekiss VMAX, early build, super cool, whatever. Milotic has an ability, Feebas again, only a vessel to evolve into Milotic, where your opponent's supporters do not affect your hands, which means that they basically we can't get Marnie with this deck. We want to build up a fat hand, and I think that sounds really cool. We have the Galarian Rapidash. So its attack, again, for 2 colorless energies, it's not going to be affected by the -20 from double turbo energy. We could bring a Pokemon down to 100 HP. We could then go ahead and Togekiss VMAX that Pokemon and knock it out for 100 damage. See how that works? We have Manaphy to protect our bench, which can prevent our benched Rapidash, Milotics, Feebas, Togekiss, all that stuff from getting damage. And I think that's really cool. So again, Manaphy, its ability blocks bench damage, really cool. We do have all the links to the description to these brand new cards from Pokebeat. Shout out to them for having the translations up. Makes my life as a content creator absolutely awesome because we can start creating new content. Lumineon V is very similar to Tapu Lele GX. Its ability allows you to search your deck for a supporter card. And this is really one of those things where a supporter card really works out because you could search your deck for all the ones. Like I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different supporters. You might be able to rip yourself out of a situation that you absolutely need to get out of. So we're going to start with Marnie. We play Marnie because we have Marnie and we have Path to the Peak. I think that sounds like a really good kind of strategy, and we don't want to be discarding things, and we want to be building up our hand. That's not to say that we play Marnie all the time, but it is something where I think Marnie works. Adventures Discovery allows us to search our deck for a Lumineon to maybe get something for next turn. It can get out that Rapidash. It can get out our Togekiss pieces. So one of our early strategies that we have is using Pokégear 3.0 to search our deck for an Adventures Discovery so we can get set up. That's really our engine here. Cheren's Care to the right of Adventures Discovery is really one of those new cards. Whoa, I got super big here. We're gonna go back. Whatever happened there, that's got a big Zach. Woo! You gotta love content creation sometimes. We're gonna find the Cheren's Care here. I think it was probably a hotkey that I pressed. Cheren's Care has already been released in English, or at least the translation has, because it is officially coming out in the set. That's not to say that some of these cards might not make it into our set, but we already have the official English scan. You get to put one of your colorless Pokemon that has any damage counters on it and all cards attached to it into your hands. So if our Pokemon gets damaged, such as Togekiss VMAX, we could put it back into our hands. So if our opponent can't hit for 310, we're big chillin'. I think that sounds really cool. So big chillin' with the Togekiss VMAX, lift it back to our hand, get the double turbo energy, rip another Togekiss down, keep on rolling, kind of like how a Cheryl, like an Inteleon VMAX deck would work. We have Roseanne's backup. That's again another one of these new cards. So you could choose one or more, shuffle a Pokemon from your discard pile into your deck. You could choose a Pokemon tool card from your discard pile, shuffle it into your deck. Choose a stadium card from your discard pile into your deck, an energy card from your discard pile into your deck. So these are all really things that you have options. You could choose one or more, so up to 4 of those, or however what you like. So we have ways to get back stadiums such as our Collapsed Stadium that we'll go into a little bit, Path to the Peak. We can get back our double turbo energies if our opponent ever plays Crushing Hammer, Sidney, anything that could discard them. We can get Pokemon tools back such as Air Balloon, so we can have forever free retreats. We have Pokemon that we can get back, so maybe we lost a Feebas P, something like that. We have options. Caitlin allows us, once we build up a big hand, we can choose the cards that we want to keep, choose the cards that we want to put under, and really have that threshold of how much we want to draw. So I think that's a unique card for this deck. We have a boss. I'll get why we have a lot of one-ofs in a second, but we'll get there. Bosses to really bring things up, especially after Galarian Rapidash, or we could just continuously boss bring up something and maybe our opponent will run out of resources. We have a copy of Avery. If there's quite a few decks that might be playing Ludicolo or just have a big bench in general, Avery is a pretty neutral draw. We are not going to have a big bench, or we likely should not have a big bench, or we can control a big bench. We could even discard things and get things back, so it kind of works as a mini Collapsed Stadium. I think something like Avery having just a raw draw there really works well in this mid-range control deck or healing control deck. Cheryl is kind of a piece that works with the Cheren's Care. Maybe we do not have another Togekiss that we could put down in our hand or something else like that. Cheren's Care does allow us to put it back into our hand, but we need to have another Togekiss down, or maybe another 2 Togekiss down, so we can prepare for that. Sometimes you're not going to be able to prepare for it. Cheryl does allow us to prepare for that, so it seems super cool. The card to the right of Cheryl is Team Yell's Cheer, which is a card from the Start Deck 100 set, and I believe we are going to be getting it in our set here as well. Team Yell's Cheer is really interesting. You shuffle any combination of up to 3 of Pokemon and supporter cards except Team Yell's Cheer from your discard pile into your deck. So that's why we have a lot of one-ofs, because we have access to Team Yell's Cheer and we have 4 copies of Pal Pad. So we could shuffle back the Team Yell's Cheer with Pal Pad, get back another, like, we can kind of roll through a bunch of supporters. So for example, Cheren's Care can be used 3 times in most decks, like you see 3, but with Team Yell, we can now get those 3 back and roll it back, Pal Pad back the Team Yell Cheer and another Cheren's, and then get back the other 3. So we could kind of indefinitely loop, or I guess it's not indefinite because it will stop at some point when we run out of Pal Pads, but we could probably loop for like a solid 15 turns. 15 turns times 100 damage is 1500. And that's enough to knock out pretty much anything. Like, I think we could stay alive as long as this deck gets set up. And it's something that I need to test the consistency of the deck, but so far the strategy rolling works. Sidney can discard some crucial cards from our opponent's hand. You can see that we have a lot of control elements in this deck, with the Marnies, the Paths, the Fan of Waves, Crushing Hammers. We have a lot of healing things, so being able to take resources out of our opponent's hand can be huge. We have Bird Keeper, so we always have a way to shuffle back a switching supporter. So maybe our opponent continuously tries to stall up one of our Pokemon and removes our Air Balloon. We have a way to get it back with Pal Pad, Team Yell's Cheer, so that we can always have a way to get outs. We have Piers. Piers is really weird in this deck because it usually is played in dark decks. If it's played, it's a typically underused supporter, but you're able to search out double turbo energy. So you might be able to go Lumineon into a Piers, into a whatever, right? Like you have ways to grab what you're looking for with this deck. Like I said, Pal Pad's part of our infinite loop. Quick Ball is really to get things started. I would like to use Ultra Ball, but Adventure's Discovery pretty much gets out whatever we want. And once we get Togekiss set up, we can also just search for whatever we're looking for, whether that's Milotic or other double turbo energies. We can search out all these different cards and really make it happen. Crushing Hammer is really to slow our opponent down so that we can build up this kind of loop that's unstoppable. Because I mean, like, if you're like, hey, by the way, opponent, we set up, you can't, like, if you can't win the game in 21 turns, or if you don't have resources like us to last for 21 turns, which most decks will not, they either knock out Togekiss VMAX in 1 hit, or they do not. I think that's really where this deck might stand. And again, this is an early concept list, so it's not going to be perfect. I still need to test things out, but I think I'm really onto something here. Pokégears to grab whatever we need. Early game, I think it's great to grab things late game. Fan of Waves with the Crushing Hammer again, that kind of control vibe. We have Air Balloon because we can get them back with the Roseanne's backup. We have access to our Pokemon have all less than 2 retreat costs, so it works out great. We have Bird Keeper for our switches, so that seems to be working. Path to the Peak is really to shut off abilities. We don't have any abilities except Lumineon, but we only play 2 Path. We can get back Path as many times as we want with Roseanne's, because with our cycling, we can also cycle back Roseanne's to get back Path and Balloon and all that kind of stuff. So we can play a bajillion paths. I know it's less than a bajillion, or if bajillion's even a real number, but we can, how many can we actually play? Like, I haven't necessarily thought of it, but I know, like, we could literally, like, if we play a path, our opponent bumps it, we play another path, they bump it, we Roseanne's, get one back, that's 3 path, we Roseanne's, we get back another one. We can then go Team Yell Cheer, that's another 2 paths, so that's 6. Then we can go ahead and play Roseanne, like, we can then go Pal Pad to get back Roseanne and Team Yell Cheer. Like, you can see that we can continuously roll with this. Like, our opponent cannot go through 20 paths. And I think that's me probably saying a fair number around 20 is the number that I think in my head. It might be more, it might be a little bit less. Let me know in the comments how many of one supporter we could use, or if we play 2 of a supporter, how many can we use between the Team Yell's Cheer. Remember, you can't get back Team Yell's Cheer with Team Yell's Cheer, but we could Pal Pad back the Team Yell's Cheer. Really, it's a riddle. We also have Collapsed Stadium. Collapsed Stadium is very similar to Parallel City. You're only allowed to have a bench of 4. So if you have a 5th bench Pokemon, you could pitch it away. This is just a way for us to, again, target our opponent's Pokemon in the same way that we could play this. Then instead of playing Avery, we can use this to heal one of our Pokemon, get back our resources. Because like I said, we can get back a Togekiss VMAX, an Energy, a Stadium, all this stuff to get around it. So we have a lot of ways. And of course, double Turbo Energy is how this works. So the whole strategy is to go Togekiss, search through things that will get you through the situation. And I think right now, being able to search through things, being able to recycle indefinitely, and being able, or kind of recycle indefinitely, I want to say kind of, it's definitely not indefinitely, it's finite, but it's close, it's indefinite in the terms of how a normal game of Pokemon will go in the 20 range turns, because most games of Pokemon are like between 4 to 7 turns. This is like 3, it's like 3 to 5 times that size, so it's really interesting. And then just really finding what you need for each matchup. I mean, this is a deck that I really want to cover with some tabletop gameplay and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it does work, it does work. But I do think Togekiss VMAX is really cool, and it's really cheap and underrated right now. So by all means, check it out. Let me know what you think about it. Any suggestions, I'd love to hear them. Togekiss seems hot. And that's what we got going on for this video today, peeps. Hopefully you enjoyed learning a little bit more about this deck, and maybe we'll see this deck topping some tournaments, taking it all down. Maybe I'll get a chance to play with some of these decks on my channel real soon. I do have the setup for tabletop, just trying to get to that point where I have a little bit of spare time where I can get that content recorded. So stay tuned for maybe some tabletop gameplay, some more Brilliant Stars deck profiles. I got a lot of coverage with the regionals this week, all that stuff. So I hope that you all enjoy the content. By all means, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch up with all y'all real soon. Peace out and have a great one. I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It means the world to me. And my goal with this channel is to spread my love of the game and knowledge with our entire Pokemon TCG community. If you haven't already, help signal boost this video to other Pokemon TCG fans by liking it, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Hopefully we reach our goals really soon. Check out this recommended video, and have yourself a great day. Thanks.